Hey guys, my name is Boris. I'm a board certified physician assistant. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I started this channel 2 years ago to help people get into PA school, and I started this back when I still was in PA school as a student. Now that I'm a practicing physician assistant, I thought that I'd continue, share the love, spread some knowledge, and continue to help people get into PA school. So today's video is a pre-PA Q&A, which basically means that I share a question that a pre-PA student has asked me, and my response to that question in hopes that it'll help more than just that one student, in hopes that it'll help somebody else out there who might be in a similar situation. So this situation is definitely pretty unique. This is a person that, she's definitely in her 40s. She got her bachelor's in biology in 1999, before some of you were alive. And she has some pretty unique challenges, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are thinking they want to be a physician assistant, they went to school a long time ago, and now they're in the same boat that this student is. And I got permission to share the student's whole story. She said she'd actually be honored if I share her story in hopes that it might help some of you out there who might be in a similar situation. So basically, without further ado, let me just read her message word for word, and I'll share my response and just kind of riff on it, comment on it, in hopes that maybe somebody out there is in a similar situation and maybe this will help you. So this person said, "Hello Boris, your story has been so impactful. Wow, I'm 45 years old. I want to attend PA school. I have a bachelor's of science in biology and graduated undergraduate in 1999. Me personally, I was in 5th grade in 1999. So this person's definitely a little bit older than I am. And I felt that I was pretty old for my PA school class. I think I was 29 when I started PA school, and most people in there were like 22 to 26. Few people were like 27, 28. Some people were older than me. But as a 29-year-old, I felt that I was pretty old for my PA school class. So this person's even ahead of that by, 10, 12 years. So anyway, unique situation. She goes on. I've worked as a medical assistant in radiology, a radiology technician, and I'm currently working in endocrinology as a coordinator / scheduler. Long of the short of it is that I developed diabetes in 1995 and then chronic kidney disease after giving birth in 2007. Went on peritoneal dialysis for 9.5 years and then hemodialysis for 1 year. That's a big deal, by the way, if you are not familiar with hemodialysis. I mean, this person was sick. She definitely had a lot going on. And then she actually went on to get a transplanted kidney on March 21st, 2022. So she puts a bunch of like these emojis where she's like flexing, like, yeah, I beat this thing, got a kidney transplant, like I'm doing good, life is good, but definitely went through a very long, very hard road. So definitely had a lot of serious health challenges to go through. So, props to you. Congratulations on the kidney transplant. I'm glad you're doing better. So, definitely a lot to go through. And so she goes on. All I need now is a chance to share my gift with the world. And I freaking love that. She went through all these challenges. She was probably on a pre-med path back in 1999. She got her bachelor's in biology, and then sure enough was diagnosed with diabetes, and then sure enough had to go through dialysis and all these chronic kidney problems, and then finally got a transplant, a second chance at life, and now she wants to be a PA, and like she said, share her gift with the world. So, man, I mean, that's a lot to go through at such a young age. That's a lot. And so she says, all I need is a chance to share my gift with the world. My prerequisites are definitely outdated, so I have to take those, and I need guidance. Please give me your honest advice. I feel like I put life on hold, and I'm blessed to have this purpose and a second chance at life. I just need a chance. And I mean, man, reading this message for the first time, this was back in April, a few months ago, but reading this message for the first time just like gave me chills. I mean, I thought I went through a lot, and I thought I was a unique applicant, having like a bad GPA, having to go through the military just to pay for school, all that kind of stuff. But compared to what this person went through, what I went through was a joke, an absolute like nothing burger compared to what this person went through. So I'm stoked to be able to help her out with the knowledge that I've gained. And so I basically said, wow, with like 7 W's. That's quite a story. Okay, first things first. Do you need, and I said, first things first, do you mind if I use your question and story in a video newsletter? Because a lot of people would probably benefit from it. And of course she said yes. Then I said, to clarify so that I could help you the best that I possibly can, just a few more questions. How was your GPA in undergrad? Did you take the GRE? It sounds like you have plenty of healthcare experience and also probably patient care experience based on your radiology tech experience. And also as a scheduler. So scheduler would probably be more in the ballpark of healthcare experience, But as a radiology tech, that's patient care experience. And if you need more help differentiating between healthcare and patient care experience, definitely let me know. And I've got plenty of videos on that on my channel. So I said we just need to get those prereqs and grades squared away because you have the experience part of it basically handled. So 6 months to a year or so, you should be squared away and ready to apply. So basically the main things when applying to PA school, as you probably already know, is grades. You have to have a track record of excellent grades in high-level biology and chemistry courses. And you also have to have high-quality, hands-on patient care experience. So basically the schools need to know that you can handle a very rigorous biology-based health curriculum and not be able to fail out of the program to be able to handle that curriculum. And also you're good hands-on, you're trainable, you're good with patients, you're going to be able to handle the second year of PA school, which is basically all hands-on, all patient care. So you have to have both of those things and a track record of being good at both of those things. So to my response, she says, thank you so much for the reply. I definitely don't mind you using my question, as I said, in a video newsletter, and I'd actually be honored if you did that. So she goes on, she says, my undergrad GPA was 3.1, and I believe it's so long ago not to be exact, but I believe it was 3.1, but I plan on ordering an unofficial transcript to make sure. I said, of course, you need to do so. And so my exact feedback to her a few weeks later was, radiology tech is good patient care experience, but endocrinology schedule is most likely healthcare experience because you're not hands-on with patients, like I just said a minute ago. And so depending on how many hours you have of each, if you have, at least about 2,000 hours as a radiology tech, you should be more than squared away to apply to most schools. That's plenty of hands-on experience. If your GPA really was 3.1, even though it was 20 years ago, that GPA will most likely follow you. Unless you apply to a school that only looks at the last 60 credits or only looks at your prereqs, which is not many of them, most of them will still look at your GPA even though it's 20 years old. Your cumulative, your total, and your science GPAs is still going to be 3.1, whatever it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it might be. So that GPA follows you. It's like a monkey on your back. It just won't hop off until you fix it. So 3.1 is definitely enough to apply to most schools, but it's not going to be competitive for most schools, so she does need to raise that. So I said also, most schools require that prerequisites be taken within 5 years of the start date. So if there are prerequisites on your program, which most of them have, Gen Chem, Gen Bio, A&P especially is a big one for almost every school, organic chemistry, stuff like that needs to be taken within 5 years. So all those classes she's going to have to retake. And so this is my specific advice to her. The first thing I would do is I would make a list of all the schools you want to apply to. This is very important because you want to be surgical with this. You want to be exact. You don't want to just take prerequisites willy-nilly, trying to raise your GPA, in this nebulous fashion. You want to be specific. So I said you want to make a list of all the schools you need to apply to, and I would say put at least 10 schools on that list, and then use their websites to check out the admissions requirements, particularly the prerequisite classes that you need, and also whether they look at all of your GPA or whether they only look at the last 60 credits. For her, I'd probably want to focus on schools that are the last 60 credits, because if she gets a 4.0 from every class she takes here onward, basically that's going to help her with her GPA instead of using that old 3.1 GPA. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. Also, I would write down whether or not they require the GRE, because that's a big strategic step. You need to study for the GRE, you need to take it, it's expensive, it's hard to take, it's stressful. So if you don't have to take it, if you only focus on schools that don't need it, you can kind of knock that out. Or if you happen to be a good test taker and you take the GRE and you do well, that could be a good thing for you. So it's just a strategic step depending on your situation. So I told her to do that. Make a list of all the schools she wants to apply to, see if they only consider the last 60 credits or if they take a more holistic approach. So whether that 3.1 GPA from 20 years ago is going to hurt her or not, and how much it is if it is going to hurt her. And also see what prerequisites they require to see what prerequisites she would have to take. Since they are so old, she would have to take all of them. She'd have to retake some classes. And also the GRE thing is a factor. And I said basically that's going to help you decide whether or not you need a plan to take the GRE, and whether or not you need to take post-bac, and whether or not you need to retake your prerequisites in kind of a random fashion where you design it yourself, or maybe how a structured post-bac might be a good idea for you in your case. Basically, organizing your plan this way helps you make a plan for what you need to do, whether it be a post-bac, just take classes on your own, only take a few classes, what do you need to do? Of course, I said no matter what you do, whether it's a structured post-bac, just taking classes, whatever it is you do, you need to maintain an excellent GPA, so get straight A's, that's the goal. If you happen to get an A- or a B+ here and there, that's fine, but you really got to shoot for straight A's. Like, this is your chance to prove to PA schools that I got what it takes. I've been through a lot. My GPA was kind of crappy 20 years ago, but now I'm on it. Now I'm a good student, I'm ready, I'm motivated. Now I can get straight A's, which shows you that I can handle your program. So if you do this, if you're looking for a second chance like a student like this, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, you need straight A's, or just about straight A's. Back when I was improving my GPA, it was also like 3.0, actually 2.9. I did a structured post-bac at an Ivy League school of all places. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I mean, I basically destroyed myself learning how to do study strategies just from the ground up, teaching myself how to study. It was a huge pain in the butt, but I did end the post-bac with a 3.9 GPA, and that's what got me into PA school. Basically, the PA school saw, he had a 2.9, he wasn't a serious student, but man, look at what he can do now. In a school that's this intense, after not being in college for 6 years, he managed to do this. Okay, we trust him, he can probably get through our program. And I did. Certificates on the wall, degrees on the wall, I got the job. But that's what you need to prove to the schools that you are a serious student. Okay, and that's what I told her. You gotta shoot for straight A's. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta shoot for straight A's, and then if you happen to get a 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, whatever, but shoot for that 4.0. And then last but not least, I always have a backup plan. If you're smart, you have a backup plan. So I said another option, of course, is an accelerated nursing degree. There's tons of these programs around. Some of them take between 1 and 1.5 years, and they're usually programs for people who already have a bachelor's, like this person, to get a bachelor's of science in nursing. So you only take a year of coursework, just intense, focused, straight up nursing courses, and you come out with a BSN, making 70, 80, 100 grand. Some nurses make more than physician assistants do. It's nuts. So, I mean, that's always a viable option. And of course, you work as a nurse for a year, couple years, you're very competitive for PA or even nurse practitioner programs down the line. So if you happen to not be competitive, or it's hard for you to become competitive for PA school, which is insanely competitive, this is always a good backup option. These programs are not nearly as competitive as PA, and then after you work as a nurse and prove yourself, you're much more competitive for PA or even NP. And NP programs are much less competitive than PA programs because you have to be a nurse to do so, so the applicant pool is much smaller. So these are always options I give most people who are in this kind of a situation. I'm not saying oh no, you're not competitive, go be a nurse. No, I would never say that. But it's a good backup option in case, the PA thing doesn't work out, and I don't want you sitting there spinning your wheels, retaking classes for 4 years, hoping to get into PA school, when you could have gotten into one of these accelerated nursing programs and been practicing as a nurse, making great money, getting great experience for a long time, and then go be a provider down the line later, be a PA or an NP, or even go to medical school, something like that, Just, take a holistic approach and be strategic about it. And basically, so after that, we messaged back and forth a little bit, basically just more specific questions on her specific situation. But that's really about it, and she definitely thanked me for the nursing advice, which she hadn't even thought of. So yeah, I mean, some people I talk to in pre-PA counselings, they're straight up gung-ho, absolutely not. I'm not taking a backup option. I do not want a plan B. I want to be a PA. Okay, cool. Absolutely. You're motivated. I appreciate that. And I mean, that was in the same boat. But of course I had a backup plan thinking all right, if I don't get into PA school, I'm okay being a nurse for a little while and then going to try to be a PA later. But obviously, my history, it worked out, but it's because I was able to get that really high GPA and able to get those really good high quality hours and was lucky enough to interview well and get into my first choice PA school. But not everyone's going to be in that boat, and I think that having a backup option is a good idea. All right, guys, so that's it. That's enough for this pre-PA Q&A. Let me know if you have questions. If you want to schedule a pre-PA counseling with me, a mock interview, or have me look at one of your CASPA essays, go to boristhepa.com. I work with people one-on-one. I've been doing it since PA school. I've helped well over 100 people now get into PA school. I like to think I'm pretty good at it, and my prices compared to a lot of the programs are pretty competitive. Although now that I'm practicing and my time is worth more and I just have a whole lot less time, of course those prices are going up, supply and demand. But anyway, I'd be more than happy to work with you. Until next time, have a great day and see you in the next video.